Hope everyone is having a good day. Welcome to 2021 AsiaTEFL. It's very unfortunate that we are meeting online. Today, I want to discuss about a topic which is rarely touched upon in the teaching fraternity and the research fraternity: homework. Let's design homework to achieve 21st century English language skills. Homework has the power to enhance achievement by extending learning beyond the school day. Homework is an inexpensive tool which improves students' academic preparation. It occupies a large part of English language learning in 21st century, as it provides individualized learning in creative ways. Homework in English language class has been widely viewed as a critical tool to build creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, communication, the 4 C's, and also advance competitiveness in the world. This session focuses on strategies and activities to motivate and engage AFL, ESL learners in homework and provide practical suggestions for language teachers, teacher educators, and instructional designers. The following is the framework for creating an exemplary teaching to English learners. As I speak, please let me know in the comment section what home assignments you give, how do you do assessments, how you motivate your students to do the homework, or if you have any other comment. The framework of the workshop will be: first, the 6 steps to a homework which will promote student success: assigning, checking, self-review, activity, differentiation, scaffolding, and transition. Tips to plan a communicative and student-centered homework which effectively contributes to course objectives and lesson plan. Suggestion of 3 project-based homework exercises: production, performance, and organizational projects. Discussion of methodological approaches in homework for easy transition from traditional classroom to online learning. Hands-on experience of digital tools in homework: Pixton, PhotoVoice, Padlet, Edmodo, and Google Forms. Strategies to help students. My name is Gargi Sarkar. I am an Indian educationist and English language trainer. I have been awarded the Fulbright Teaching Excellency and Achievement Fellowship for my teaching practices. I have also received several grants from the US Mission in India for running workshops on English language for students from a diversified background and different age groups. I have also published articles in international magazines. As I give homework, the answer I received from my students some few years back was, "Teacher, there is no meaning to homework. I know everything it contains and is a complete waste of time. If I'm attentive at school, that is, I am, what's the point of doing it again at night? I have already spent many hours at school. Doing a home assignment means I can't ride my bicycle and play outside with my friends. Don't take away my free time." Time and again, this common impression of students about homework has come back to me. There are many reasons students cite for not completing their homework. The primary reason voiced is lack of time. Students are either involved in extracurricular activities or they choose to use their time for socializing with friends. Another factor that accounts for a lot of missed homework is the students' poor organizational skills. Students either do not remember the assignment or have ineffective study habits that prevent them from completing their homework in a timely manner. In addition, the workload generated by homework can be time-consuming, such that teachers rarely get a chance to stop and reflect on what they are doing and why. I have also gone through this situation. Homework in our English language classroom is a subject of controversy. For ages, the opponents and proponents of this debate have been making cases either to oppose the system of homework or support the necessity and significance of the model in student development and knowledge construction. Being an advocate of homework myself and having witnessed the significant positive effect on students' grades and in-depth critical understanding of the content, it indeed is an important extension of in-school opportunities to learn. As an educator, my belief is that home assignments are an inexpensive method, yes, an inexpensive method of improving student academic preparation without increasing staff or modifying the curriculum. As a teacher, I also recognize that homework itself is a complex process. There is a tremendous variety in its practices, in the type and amount of work assigned, where and when it is to be completed, and whether or not it is to be graded. But we can tweak this to make homework fun and to induce some effectiveness. It is essential to allocate a variety of home assignments such that the focus of homework is to augment the content understanding through meaningful, innovative, and high-order thinking endeavors away from the tedious drill. In general, it is important to remember that homework should not overwhelm, but rather challenge the learner. It should be carefully chosen with a purpose in mind, instead of being a vague assignment such as do page number 57 to 62. If students believed each homework problem was particularly essential and meaningful, they would be more likely to do the assignment. Teachers should also understand the different learning styles students utilize and enable the students to use that learning style effectively. Homework should be tailored whenever possible. In South Asia, in particularly India, there are large student classrooms. So what we can do is that we can divide the student into groups and tailor homework as required by the students. With this understanding, the workshop will provide a comprehensive knowledge of various fun-filled activities and digital tools that can accelerate the learning process outside the classroom without being cumbersome and overburdening. These practices have been implemented in my English language classroom and have yielded positive student output with augmented critical thinking skills. I intend to share first my 6 steps to giving a homework in the ESL, EFL and ESOL classroom. The amount of homework given will depend on the students' ages and educational placement. Teachers should begin to use homework sparingly, 15 to 30 minutes per week, when student enters grade 1 to 3. As students proceed beyond 3rd grade level, the amount of homework should be increased to 2 or 4 nights each week for 30 to 60 minutes per night, and so on. Homework should not be assigned on weekends because this may limit students' participation in family and personal activities, which are as important as the students' learning in school. Not only what, but how the teacher has taught should be incorporated into the content of the assignment. The 6 steps to a homework which will promote student success. The first is proper assigning is an essential part of a homework since it sets the tone for the next class and prepares the students for the job. Through this technique, the teacher can draw the students' attention into the lesson without putting much effort. Giving interesting and innovative tasks or adopting different methods without sticking to one method alone is a way to make the students engrossed in the homework without getting distracted. The teacher should clarify the following to the students, and it is very, very important. What is the purpose of this home assignment? What is the assignment? What steps is required in order to complete the assignment? What will be the format of the assignment? When is the assignment due? What materials are needed to complete the assignment? After the assignment comes the checking. The design of the assignment activity and the associated feedback can influence the type of learning that takes place. For example, standardized minimal feedback can lead to memorization and surface approach to learning, while richer forms of feedback can lead to deeper modes of learning. Reviewing has some obvious differences in terms of implementation between students in lower secondary and higher secondary. Younger students need more guided questionnaires and straightforward rating scales. Activities for them must be kept short and open, and abstract questions usually avoided. However, upper secondary students are more than capable of assessing themselves using a wide variety of quite challenging material. Older students can also be involved in defining the criteria that will be used to judge their performance. And when given the chance, they can often have insightful ideas during discussions with teachers, which can then be used to co-develop a rubric. I have no doubt that the learning involved in this process is powerful. The development of clear rubrics brings us to the next point, self-review. For the successful implementation of self-assessment, they must be expressed in lucid language that's easily comprehensible, with clear objectives to guide students. Rubrics can then be utilized by the learners to self-evaluate their text, which helps them to revise, develop, and improve. Within a constructivist framework, the co-construction of rubrics by teachers and students working together contributes to enhancing assessment for learning instead of the assessment of learning. While doing rubrics, you can also go to the website turning.com, where there are many examples of rubrics given, and you can use accordingly. You can tweak the rubrics accordingly to your personal needs. Which takes us to the next point, differentiation. The educational basis for a child's development is encapsulated in Vygotsky's notion of the zone of proximal development, by which he refers to the gap between what learners can do unaided and what they are capable to accomplish with help from a more experienced peer or adult. The most effective learning, Vygotsky argued, is that which occurs within the zone of proximal development. That is, when the challenge presented by a task is ahead of learners' actual or current development. It is only when support is required that new learning will take place. Since the learner is then likely to be working within the ZPD, it is this task-specific support designed to help the learner independently to complete the same or similar task or homework later in new contexts, which we will understood to be scaffolding. The homework guidelines presented should be tailored by teachers to the unique needs of their students. The transition will only happen when we think about what our lesson plan is and how that lesson plan is contributing to the homework. By carefully planning homework, teachers can make homework an effective, efficient, and enjoyable experience. There can be many types of homework. Let's talk about first project-based homework. This can be of three types: production, performance, and organizational projects. Benjamin Franklin once said, "Tell me and I will forget, teach me and I will remember, and involve me and I will learn." This powerful quote is the cornerstone for these types of homework. Students must create a physical model of one of the regular homework problems. Once the model is created, the students perform some task as regular homework questions, matching with their original context. The submission of this activity includes a report and a 5-minute video clip of them explaining their model and discussing the results compared with the lesson. The teacher has a duty in this. The teacher must provide a video of her own doing an assignment as a guide. However, the students should be given the liberty of modifying, improving, and creating their own models. In addition, the students' perception is that project-based homeworks keep them more engaged, and this promotes their participation and help them to build stronger relations with their peers, promoting teamwork outside the classroom setting. My students time again has expressed that PBH, project-based homework, increased their creativity, and helped to connect classwork with real life situations. A large group of students also stated that by making a video explaining their project and comparing with their text, they were able to better understand the concepts, conducing to a better performance in exams and ultimately in the class. With the emergence of communicative language teaching, led to the notion of the performance-based assessment, which is sometimes used interchangeably with task-based language assessment. PBA can be defined as a measurement of the skills of performance that reflect real-world situations and require the students to develop their original responses, explaining the processes followed to achieve those results. Performance-based assessments engages students in real-world tasks rather than multiple choice and evaluate them according to criteria that are important for actual performance in a field of work. This assessment requires students to use productive skills of speaking or writing, but also using reading or writing or combining all the skills. In short, those skills involve written and oral productions, oral interactions, and authentic activities like group discussions and projects done in small groups. PBA tries to address giving feedback to learners or teachers, allowing summative decisions that indicate target language learning outcomes and increase awareness to learners. The last but not the least is the organizational or learning projects, which are characterized by the 4 elements. Project-based learning means learning together. For one thing, students can learn from each other's experience. Moreover, the development of shared ideas can be regarded as learning. But other ways of interaction should not be ignored. For example, a debate can turn out to be a useful learning experience. Disagreement does not necessarily prevent people from working effectively. Project-based learning means being aware of learning. Most learning projects include some form of reflection on work problems with the specific purpose of learning. Being aware of this problem-solving approach means learning about learning, especially when the awareness is expanded by an evaluation of the approach itself. Project-based learning means multifaceted learning. Learning projects are to be viewed up to a certain extent as experimental gardens. New ways of learning may be investigated and evaluated for their successful contribution. This type of learning means linking learning to work improvement. Students expand their knowledge by solving real-life work problems. In this way, both the teacher and the students end up better off. How do these learning projects help to develop a learning organization? Before we can discuss this question, we have to know exactly what we are aiming at when we talk about learning organization. The literature provides many definitions. They usually propose how learning should be organized in order for an efficient, flexible, and viable organization to emerge. In short, the following issues keep recurring: continuous learning on the individual, group, and system level, single and double loop learning processes, creation and distribution of information and knowledge, inquiry and dialogue between the students, sharing of learning experience, increasing the learning capacity of students, learning to learn. integration of work and learning, shared vision, theory of action, empowerment of individual learners, coaching, and transforming. Now, let's talk about actual homework. And all the tools which I will share now are all digital because we have not yet transitioned to the physical classroom. So I felt that it will be useful and helpful to use digital tools to assign homework. The first approach of assigning a meaningful homework is to create comic strips. Comics is primarily described as a sequential art composed of words and images in a series that aims to communicate a specific idea. It is essential to appreciate the great impact diagrammatic expressions can have on students' understanding of content. Being a colorful way of conveying stories, theories, and emotions, I have employed comics as a way to guide students through lesson review, expressing what they have learned using minimal words. That means summarizing. Panels, speech bubbles, and line have varied uses in comics. A student is engaged in a meaningful purpose that helps to develop creative thinking skills. Learners are involved in the expression of emotions through characters with the use of gestures and actions, and the construction of dialogues between characters to represent an idea. The concept of comics can also be used to spin a story from a hook rather than writing stories in the form of lengthy essays. In this current age, where the online platform is central to the new education sphere, I have made use of Pixton. You can go to the website pixton.com and you can create comics. It's a free website where you can just do a sign in and you can share the link with your students. Pixton enables us instructors and learners to construct comic strips using a variety of background templates, panel layouts, speech bubbles, characters, gestures, and actions. The application has unlimited creative options and is an ideal learner-centered digital tool that learner may use to construct their own understanding of the content and present it in a way that is meaningful and better recorded in their memory. The next tool which we will talk about is the Vocaro. You can go to vocaro.com and you can use this application. It's a very simple online tool which does not need any sign-in also. It allows students to record a voice message and to make short voice presentations for their peers and teachers. It need not be installed and it can be used by anyone who just has a smartphone and a microphone. The students can download the recording to their phone, and also for advanced learning, they can embed it in a blog or a website. They can record a radio advertisement, a digital story, interviews, read aloud essays for quick assessment and learning. The next application is Photo Voice. We all use WhatsApp, and this particular application is connected with the WhatsApp. Photo Voice is nothing but digital photography, which is very, very relevant in this age of selfies and Instagram and WhatsApp. This uses documentary photography and storytelling. What I do is that I ask my students to take a photograph and send it to me on WhatsApp with a short write-up. Now, what this photo voice does, it puts the camera in the hands of individual, that is our learners, who are excluded from the decision-making process in order to capture their voices about their lives, their community, and their concerns. Photo voice sets out to convey the point of view of the person holding the camera. It need not be related to any lesson or any text that we do in the classroom. It invites us teachers to look at the world through the same lens as our students and to share the story that evokes for the person who clicked the shutter. How you can do this photo voice? You can ask your students to share stories in their own voice, which will provide a lot of meaning and context to the images and also help them learn language by ensuring that participants are engaging in meaningful, communicative language exchange. Also, it expresses the intended meaning and understanding others' meanings too, which is very important for language development. Also, photography provides a space in which individuals explore curiosity safely, considering different opinions, styles, values, and similarities. In my classroom, I have a WhatsApp group where the students are instructed to only share photos and a small write-up. The next day, we discuss these photos and the write-up in the classroom. The next tool is Google Form. I'm sure all of you are conversant with Google Form, and it is a huge part of Google's feature, and that can be accessed freely through a browser. This feature is very important for two things. One, for formative assessment, and also to do a reflection. Data entered through Google Forms can be saved in a spreadsheet automatically. Besides storing the spreadsheet data, it can also be edited before it is further processed. With all the components contained in Google Form, the user do not need to worry about the difficulty of using it. As a teacher, I have found creating Google Forms very easy. You just need to sign in your Google account, and then you can open the Google Form and you can create a Google Form and you can share it with your students. You can use the feature dragging and dropping. Also, Google Form is equipped with various color palettes to enhance our design. I find it very useful when I'm not only giving formative assessment, but also I find it very useful when I'm doing some sort of reflection in the class, like how my lesson went and how the learners have understood. And this helps me to improve on my teaching. In a virtual classroom, I have also gone paper-free because I created a digital notebook to keep the students accountable. I have employed a user-friendly Padlet wall for recording student output. It can be created by a teacher on padlet.com. You sign in the Padlet, you can create 3 free Padlets, and you can share the link with your students, and whatever home assignments they're doing, or apart from home assignments, if they're writing any stories, any poems, any blog post, any other form of writing, they can share it on Padlet. Even you can share the vocabulary recording on Padlet. Even you can share your Google Form on Padlet. Even they can share the Pixel comic on Padlet. It is a free web application that provides an easy-to-use virtual wall and collaborative space accessible to multiple learners who can simultaneously view, upload, and reorder content on the Padlet, including text, images, links to other web pages. Padlet is better defined as a digital journal and can be used for book reviews, process paragraphs, question and answers, opinions and discussions. Additionally, parents can also track their children's daily development and can also see what is happening in the classroom. The last but not the least, the digital tool which I absolutely hooked to is Edmodo. It is the Facebook for school. It is one of the most widely used digital learning platform for teachers and learners. You just have to go to edmodo.com, sign in there, and you can share the link with your students, and the students will be able to access your Edmodo page. It is exactly like how we use our Facebook. It enables me to stay connected to my students via sending notes, replying to posts, checking messages, and upcoming events while we are away from the classroom. One of the best features of Edmodo is that users can manage their classes and consolidate of all their activities in one place. You can even put the link of your Padlet in Edmodo. Users have countless options to share digital content. It can be used for role-playing, language practice, grammar, and punctuation. Students are benefited to a greater extent as they can collaborate with their peers, get aid from instructors, and submit their work to get instant feedback. As an added advantage, parents get the option to log in either as their children or themselves. They can review their kids' work and grades. They can also receive updates from the instructors regarding missed assignments and school happenings. So all these activities makes us accountable to the school, to the parents, and to the students. And I feel for a teacher's growth, accountability and reflections are two important tools. Through such practices, instructors can provide learners with a unique opportunity to make a difference that will not only impact the achievement, but also the lives of the students. Indeed, teachers must recognize the power of homework and utilize it wisely to teach other people's children. It is not good to confine our students to our own learning, for they are born in another time. By engaging in innovative practices, teachers can significantly include rather than exclude learners in the teaching-learning process and construct an environment conducive and welcoming to learners. These strategies have been employed by several teachers and instructors in a wide variety of schools concerning K-12 learners, and the results have been remarkable. All I will say is that I have got a lot of positive results by using all these methodologies in my classroom while assigning homework. If you have any questions, comments, or if you want to further discuss this workshop, you can always reach out to me at gargisarkar88@yahoo.com. Hope you have a wonderful day ahead and hope you enjoy the rest of the sessions.